did you know your community was pure evil? My religious community mandated that any woman who miscarried had to raise another member's newborn for 1 year to prove she deserved to try again. When I lost my baby at 20 weeks, they took me straight from the hospital to Mary's house, where I was forced to breastfeed and care for her infant son while she watched, waiting to see if I was mother enough to earn another pregnancy. The happiest day of my life was when I found out I was pregnant. After 2 years of trying, I decorated the nursery in yellow, sung to my belly every night, named her Lucy. Then I felt her stop moving. The ultrasound showed no heartbeat. I lay on the floor for hours, too devastated to even sit up. As I delivered my dead daughter, Elder Thompson's wife stood at my bedside explaining the program. Women who miscarried had to prove their maternal worth by raising another woman's child perfectly for 1 year. Still bleeding, breasts aching with milk, I was driven to Mary's house where her 3-day-old son waited. The rules were precise and cruel. I had to live in Mary's house, sleep in the nursery, and care for baby Samuel every moment while she observed and scored my performance. If I cried while holding him, points deducted for emotional instability. If I sang the lullabies I'd written for Lucy, points off for living in the past. Mary wasn't allowed to touch her own son for the entire year. She could only watch as I nursed him with the milk meant for Lucy, changed him, rocked him to sleep. She sat in a chair 3 feet away, close enough to see his face but forbidden from holding him. The elders said this taught birth mothers gratitude and grieving mothers redemption. It was destroying us both. Samuel would cry at night and I'd rush to him, my body responding to his needs while my heart shattered, remembering Lucy's perfect stillness. Mary would stand in the doorway at 3 a.m., arms wrapped around herself, tears streaming as she watched me comfort her baby she wasn't allowed to touch. Samuel's first smile happened while I was changing him, and Mary made a sound like an animal being gutted. She fell to her knees, begging me to make him do it again. I tried everything while she sobbed, and she lost 15 points that day for excessive emotional display, because the community monitored us constantly. Elder Thompson's wife would arrive unannounced to observe my maternal performance. Was I singing enough? Was my milk production adequate? Did I show appropriate joy during playtime? Meanwhile, Mary deteriorated. She'd press her face against the nursery door at night, listening to me sing to her baby. By month 6, we were both ghosts. I'd memorized every detail of Samuel's face, knowing I'd have to give him back. Mary had started pulling out her hair, leaving bald patches she tried to hide. Neither of us could survive much more of this. And then Samuel got sick. His fever spiked to 103 and he wouldn't stop crying. Mary begged to hold him, just once, but Elder Thompson's wife blocked her. You touch that baby, you both fail. She starts over with another family. You never get him back. I watched Mary collapse, screaming that her baby needed his mother's comfort, not some grieving stranger's arms. That broke something in me. I handed Samuel to Mary and said, "Comfort your son." But when she took him, he screamed harder, reaching back for me, the only mother he'd ever known. Mary's face crumbled as she realized her own baby didn't recognize her. She tried singing, rocking, everything, but Samuel only calmed when I took him back. Mary's husband screamed at us the whole time, placing emergency calls to the elders and forcing us into the study together to wait for our correction. Mary was completely panicking. Her baby didn't recognize her, and if the elders had their way, he never would. I've seen him filing reports after other women failed, she said, pulling keys from behind a bookshelf. Church basement, files on every woman who's been through the program. Names, dates, what happened to them. Her eyes were wild. I need to know if anyone's ever gotten their child back. I need to know now this ends. We had minutes before they came for us. We could submit to correction or break into the church and find out what happened to the women who came before us. We ran through the darkness to the church, Samuel clutched in my arms. The basement files started innocently enough. Then Mary found the medical files. Her hands shook as she read. Every woman who'd miscarried had been given the same prenatal vitamins by the church clinic. I grabbed a bottle from the shelf, recognized the pills I'd taken religiously. The label was fake. The real medication inside was mifepristone, abortion medication. They'd killed our babies. Even worse was the folder marked successful redemptions. Women who completed their year and were deemed worthy to try again all had the same outcome. Triplets or quadruplets, always. The fertility drugs they gave redeemed mothers were experimental, causing dangerous multiple births. Half the women and babies died in childbirth. We were grabbing files when Elder Thompson appeared. "Sisters, you think you're the first to discover our breeding program?" He showed us photos of women who tried to leave, their faces crossed out in red. Sarah tried to go to the police, car accident. Rebecca contacted a reporter, house fire. They thought they could expose God's land too. Footsteps echoed above us. More elders were coming down the stairs. Mary clutched the stolen files while I held Samuel. We had seconds to decide, surrender and return to our torture, or run with proof of their murders and risk becoming their next victims. Full story on channel linked below.